getting ready for kickoff here as Walsh will start the game with the ball. To kick off for the Eagles will be Aiden Sammons. Sammons did some place kicking last week, too, after Anthony McCarthy missed a few extra points. Interestingly enough, McCarthy's still listed as the starting kicker, but Sammons will handle kickoff duties here this season.
Right, Sammons is the long-distance kicker. Makes some sense for him to be doing the kickoffs for the Eagles.
Jamaris Brown, the senior from Fort Myers, Florida. We talked about him in the pregame a little bit. He'll be out back to return. That one's fumbled, though, at the 10-yard line by Walsh and taken only about to the 16. That was Pat White, the other kick returner, and some struggles early on special teams for Walsh.
Right, not what you want to see from them, starting with some less than ideal field position, but they'll look for their offense to come out and hopefully get a good drive going. Obviously, the Eagles, on the other hand, want to get the ball right back, get that high-flying offense going.
And here comes Brady Ton, the sophomore quarterback for Walsh, and for all intents and purposes, he's really a freshman, converted from receiver over the offseason. It's his first, saw his first snaps at quarterback last week. Handoff goes up the middle for about no gain, maybe a yard. The Ashland defensive line did a nice job getting some excellent pressure there on the offensive line. Again, looking at the Walsh offense, we've got Ton and Mayle in the backfield. Justin Keith will probably get some carries as well as some others. Schrock, Robinson, and Wilson line out the wide receivers. And they do like to play with 3 to 4 wide receiver sets. Ton under center this time. He'll send the wingback in motion out to the right-hand side. That's a pass and a little bit short.
Yeah, definitely looked like a converted wide receiver on that play there. Just didn't have quite a lot on it. You'll notice Walsh running a lot of motion. They do a lot as we take a look at Ashland's defense. Did a good job on that play.
And, of course, up front, they had a great game last week. Lair and Saunders and Hubler. But the linebackers and defensive backs had a great game as well. You can't talk about Ashland's defense without talking about Cody Bloom. Back from that medical red shirt, and he's ready to rock and roll again.
Right, all GLIAC honors, All-American. Very great defensive player for Ashland.
4 receivers set for Walsh this time. Ton in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. That one's incomplete. Right off the hands of Aaron Mayle, the running back, and a quick 3-and-out will give Ashland their first shot at offense here today.
Right. Walsh can't find themselves in those situations that they want to be successful. 3rd and 8, have to pass. Walsh's offense is built on that running game, lots of motion. When you know they're in definite passing situations, Ashland's going to be able to jump those passing lanes.
Especially disappointing when Mayle, one of your best players, is the guy who ends up dropping the ball.
Yeah, right off his hands. Might have been close there for a first down had he caught it.
Mike Taylor back to receive for the Eagles. And that one is a short punt. No one will get to it as Walsh will down the ball right at midfield, and the Eagles will have pretty good field position to start their first drive of the day.
Yep, the Eagles will take the field. Anthony Taylor again starting at running back out there. We'll see how this goes for the Eagles. Obviously, Tarnowski, Taylor, McCune, Settlemeyer, essentially everyone who touched the ball had a great game. We'll see who takes the lead here with this one.
Even the offensive line had a great game. Some great movement up front by Belial Knight and Jonathan Sippa and Triplett and Gianna and Douglas, and those big guys up front had a great game against Lake Erie as well. Tarnowski settles for motion over to the left-hand side. Handoff goes up the middle for a gain of maybe 1. Anthony Taylor with the carry.
Yep, Taylor bottled up right at the line. Remember last year, had a very good game.
Taking a look at the offense, of course, it's Tarnowski under center and Anthony Taylor in the backfield. We'll also see McCune and Settlemeyer back there. Aaron Wire, the fullback, with a couple catches last week. Pico and Tompkins on the outside. Slavinsky, the tight end for tonight. We'll also see a little bit of Matt Schweitzer at tight end. Taylor takes this one straight up the middle for a gain of about 5 yards, and the Eagle offense will have a 3rd and manageable at around the 44, 43-yard line.
And nice easy handoff there. Taylor going right up the middle and doing what he does.
Taking a look at the Walsh defense again. They're pretty young up front, but they do have some experience in the linebacking core and the defensive backs, especially starting cornerback Jamaris Brown.
We talked about him in the pregame. All GLIAC, first team. He's going to be a guy that Tarnowski's not going to want to pick on.
Back to pass for Tarnowski, and the ball's juggled, not quite able to be taken in. That was Matt Schweitzer, the tight end, the intended receiver. Even if he would have caught that ball, it didn't look like it was going to be a first down, Zach.
No, it didn't. Sending up Austin Bruns now as the punter. Remember last year started a couple games at quarterback. This is something Ashland likes to do, having that backup quarterback as the punter. It always opens up that element of fake punt.
And we did see Bruns convert a couple fourth downs last week. Lee Owens likes to go with this. His kicker's not with particularly strong legs, so in situations where it's fourth and manageable, he likes to put the defense on their heels a little bit. Bruns again back to pass as the Eagles will attempt to convert this fourth down. He'll run for it down to the 40 to about the 37, and that's first down, Ashland University.
It's a nice play there by Bruns, putting his head down. He initiated the contact there, pushed the defender over for the first down. Great play there by the backup quarterback, Bruns.
Again, Bruns did see a little bit of action under center as we see this replay here last week. Just a great run by Bruns for the first down, knew exactly where the sticks were at. Did see a little bit of action at quarterback last week. Didn't do particularly well under center, but he did do pretty well in his fourth down duties as the pooch punter. Taylor takes this one off the left-hand side, breaks it down to the 20, down to the 10. That's a touchdown, Eagles!
Great play there by, is that Taylor? That's Vance Settlemeyer, the sophomore. He gets out into the open field. He's definitely Ashland's speed back, and he showed you why right there.
I apologize. That was Settlemeyer on the carry, not Anthony Taylor. 28-26, sometimes a little bit tough to read. Settlemeyer last week had 99 yards on 9 carries and a touchdown, and he's picking up right where he left off.
Right, just got the ball, got right to the edge. Great job there by Sippa to seal off that edge, and then as soon as Settlemeyer sees open field, he is gone.
We'll see Aiden Saments, the punter and kickoff man, to do the extra points. McCarthy was slotted as the starter. He missed a couple last week. That one's up and good by Saments, though, and the Eagles take an early 7-0 lead.
Yep. Again, exactly how the Eagles want to start off. Get the offense going quickly. And again, Settlemeyer and McCune. You didn't see McCune on that drive, but you're going to see these running backs just keep cycling in a lot of talent for the Eagles at running back.
Let's take a look at that play again, and Settlemeyer just turning on the jets as soon as he runs that runs around that corner.
Right, he gets outside and no one is going to catch him. Great job blocking there by the offensive line. Again, all you need to do is get Settlemeyer to that second level. He doesn't even need to make anybody miss. Just turns on the jets and into the end zone for a quick touchdown for the Eagles.
And if you're Ashland University, this is exactly where you want to be because Walsh is not the best passing team in the league. They can run the ball right down your throat, but when they're in situations like this, things can start to unravel a little bit.
Right. Lee Owens definitely executing the game plan that he wants there, being able to rely on those running backs, getting up early, and then forcing Walsh to rely on their converted wide receiver at quarterback.
Saments back to kick again. It's White and Brown to receive down at the Walsh end of the field. And that one's White, and he'll take it down to about the 30 before he's finally tripped up around the 34. A nice little return by Pat White after he struggled on the first time around there.
It's actually Matt Matsuka back there as the secondary kick returner. Originally listed that Pat White would be back there, but Matsuka kicking it there. And it looks like they're trying to kick it away from Jamaris Brown. Matsuka there making him pay, taking it out all the way to the 34-yard line.
Matsuka had 5 rushes for 36 yards last week in their win over Tiffin. Lots of different Walsh ball carriers saw action last week in that huge win over the Dragons.
Quick pass there from Brady Toon right to Aaron Mayo. It's a couple-yard game, but it's the kind of play that Walsh Cavaliers need to keep making if they want to keep this competitive.
That's the second time we've seen Brody Ton go to his running back out of the backfield on passing plays. It seems like Mayo will be a big part of the Walsh offense here today. That one's right up the middle to him, and maybe a gain of 1 if they're lucky. Great play by the Ashland defense.
Yeah, that front 7 just swarmed the ball carrier. Never had a chance.
Brandon Ellinger in there on the tackle among several other Eagle defenders. Ellinger, the backup nose tackle. The Ashland defensive line really stellar, and they're built too deep pretty well. Taunton will line up in the shotgun. No running backs for him here on this 3rd and 4. This one's complete over the left-hand side. Good for a first down, and ran out of bounds for a gain of about 10. That's Daryl Gray. Had one catch for 36 yards last week, and he also had the only touchdown receiving for the Walsh Cavaliers.
Yeah, nice play there by Gary to pick up the first down. Walsh, not the kind of offense that's going to go over the top too well, but if they keep picking up these short yards, short gains, this is the kind of thing that Walsh is going to look for.
Ton under center now. There's 2 backs in the backfield. He sends a 3rd in motion. This one goes straight up the middle.
That's Justin Keith there. Last week, 81 yards on 12 rushes and a touchdown. Great game to start off the year from him. And a nice run there, picking up 8 yards on that carry.
Again, you'll see very many different Walsh Cavaliers rushing the football here today. Keith kind of their down the throat, right between the tackles type of runner. Same play in motion again. Keith gets the ball once again, and that one will be good for a first down, it looks like. Just barely it'll move the sticks, and Walsh will have a fresh 10 to try and convert.
Yep, same play. Olszewski there to break it up much quicker than last time, but still giving up the first down there.
Olszewski had a pretty good week last week. 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, and a fumble recovery as well. He had 68 tackles as last year as a freshman.
And really filled that void that Cody Bloom's injury left.
Ton back to pass. That one's complete. No yardage after the catch. Pass was complete to Jay Kundrat, the tight end for the Walsh Cavaliers.
It was a nice open field tackle there by the Eagle defender, ensuring that there's no yards after the catch. Devon Barrow, the linebacker.
So it'll be about 2nd and 4 as the handoff goes off to the left-hand side, and a nice play in the backfield. You just mentioned him, Zach.
Yep, Devon Barrow didn't come in on our 2-deep chart, but out there making some plays early on. Very nice play behind the line to put the Cavaliers in a 3rd and long situation.
This is not exactly the best situation for Walsh. Again, they're much more of a running team than a passing team, but 3rd and 11, you're just about forced to put the ball in the air. Ton in the shotgun now, 4 receiver set, 3 off to his right-hand side. He hands this one off right up the middle. Keith takes it, and that's good for maybe a yard. It'll be 4th down, and we'll see the punt team come on for Walsh.
Yep, nice tackle there by Olszewski. Doesn't let Justin Keith get into the open field. Nice play there by Olszewski again. Like you said, had a great freshman year, and now as a sophomore looking to build upon that, especially next to Cody Bloom, who we've talked about before as being such a crucial part of this Ashland Eagles defense.
Well, we'll see what Coach Ted Karras wants to do here. This would be go-for-it territory if you were Lee Owens. Karras looks like he's going to go for it, too. He's got his quarterback, Brady Ton, still on the field. Ton in the shotgun, one back to his right-hand side. Takes the snap, drops back to pass. It's batted up in the air, almost caught off the deflection by Daryl Gray, but not able to hook up there were the Walsh Cavaliers. And again, the Eagles will have pretty good field position.
Yeah, it was a nice pass there by Ton, but right off of his own receiver's hands. Almost caught there by Gray, which would have been for a first down, but he wasn't able to bring it in. And now the Eagles offense gets to take over again. Again, really good field position just on their side of the 50.
So Tarnowski now lines up in the shotgun. He's got one back to his right-hand side, and that is Taylor. He breaks a tackle, gets a gain of about 10 yards. It'll be close to a first down. It looks like they will give it to him about a yard extra on it.
Yeah, it's great vision there by Taylor to bounce that to the outside. Looked, immediately saw he didn't have anything open. Good job there again by the right tackle for Ashland, Balil Knight, 4-year starter over there to seal that outside edge, giving Taylor a lot of room to get that 10-yard run.
Ashland lines up in a power set now as the pitch goes off to the right-hand side, and the runner will be stopped around the 49, and as the Eagles are into Walsh territory. Anthony Taylor seeing some work yet again.
Yeah, gain of 1 there for Taylor. Not a whole lot going, but still a nice job for Taylor to get in there. Nice tackle there by Gary Ransom, who talked about in the pregame. Led the team with 8 tackles last week.
Taylor will stay in the game at running back for the Eagles on the 2nd and about 9 as Tarnowski goes back under center. Play action pass. That one's intended for Pico, and man, he does come down with the catch at the 40. That's just a great catch by Dan Pico.
Yeah, Pico, the senior, obviously a leader, had great chemistry already with Tarnowski. 8 catches for 135 yards, and that's a play of the receiver going and bringing that ball down. There's not a huge window there, but again, nice throw there by Tarnowski, just a little bit off, and that's an interception by Walsh.
Last week, Pico had 8 receptions, 135 yards, and a touchdown. Could have had a couple more as well, as he was the victim of pass interference a couple times. Tarnowski drops back again. This one's off to the right-hand side. The tight end, Schweitzer, has it for a gain of maybe a yard or 2.
Quick three-step drop there for Tarnowski and get the ball out. It's a quick gain there for the Eagles. Nice to just keep the offense moving. Now you're into 2nd and 8 for the Eagles.
Tarnowski didn't go to his tight ends very much last week. Schweitzer had 1 catch for 3 yards, and Slavinsky, the starter, had no catches. That's a handoff straight up the middle as Taylor takes it. Good for maybe close to a first down. It looks like it'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, Taylor making something out of nothing. Not a whole lot of room there for him to run, but is able to just keep his feet moving, keep the ball moving forward. And now they're in a 3rd and 1 situation. Hopefully the Eagles can convert this one.
Ashland making sure the right personnel's in the field as Tarnowski goes back under center for this 3rd and about maybe 3/4 of a yard left to play. It looks like Lee Owens is going to want to take his first timeout of the evening. So, Zach, while we have a little bit of time here, let's talk about what options Ashland has here. You have all 3 running backs. We haven't seen Jordan McCune, who's really the between-the-tackles guy for Ashland.
Right. If you would think you'd see McCune here. You can also see the fullback. He got involved in the offense last week. Aaron Wire. He caught 2 passes for 59 yards. But you do have quite a few options here, as you've seen. It's gotten the tight ends involved pretty early. Targeting Schweitzer a couple times, targeting Slavinsky on those quick out routes. Be interesting to see what the Eagles do here with this.
And if you're Lee Owens, it's almost like having a 2nd and short because you're probably going to go for it on 4th down here anyway.
Right, just outside of the 30, with not too much wind out there today, but still a good chance that the Eagles would be going for it here.
Out of the range for either Samens or McCarthy to really kick a field goal at this point. Tarnowski hands this one right up the middle, and that is good for an Ashland first down, and there's a flag on the play. We'll see what we have here. It looked like Belil Knight might have been involved in some extracurricular activity.
It looked like a little past the whistle by both teams. It's always tough to know who's going to get the penalty.
Foul, face mask, number 3, defense, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
That's the middle linebacker, Cameron Trudell. He had 1 tackle last week, but he did have a pretty good year last year, especially against Ashland. He had 12 tackles, 3 for a loss, and a fumble recovery. He was actually the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week after that game against AU a year ago.
Yeah, the Walsh defense played very well against the Eagles last year. Really bottled up Anthony Taylor for most of the first half, but he was able just to keep grinding away.
Taylor will stay in the game. Tarnowski back to pass this time. Over to the left-hand side, in and out of the hands of the receiver. That was Cameron Green in the end zone.
Yeah, Cameron Green, deep threat, big play guy. Last week had 2 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown and had an end around for 12 yards. They're going to look to get him the ball in space as he comes off the field now.
Looks like the sophomore from Columbus will be a big part of the Eagles' future here. A lot of young kids playing for Ashland University as the future does look pretty bright. This pitch goes off the left-hand side as Taylor will take it for maybe a yard. And it'll be 3rd and long for AU.
It was a nice job there by the Walsh defense. Got through, made contact with Taylor right at the line of scrimmage. Even for a back like Taylor, it's tough to get going if you can hit that early. Eagles in the 3rd and long situation here. It'll be interesting to see how they play it.
Hey, you would be inside field goal range at this point now. If it were to come to 4th down, it will be interesting to see if Lee Owens goes with his punter, Aiden Samens, who's been handling the extra points and the punting and the kickoffs, or Anthony McCarthy, the starting kicker this season. Tarnowski back to pass. This one's complete. Almost good for a 1st down as Green took that one down to about the 6 or 7 yard line.
Yeah, just 1 yard short of the 1st down. Nice awareness there by Cameron Green. Tried to reach for that 1st down, but was brought down just short.
It's nice to see some range from Cameron Green, as well as last week we saw him really run a lot of fades and kind of the speedster role, but that was really a possession-type route, and he got the job done. We will see the kicker come onto the field, and it will be the punter, Aiden Samens, to come on for the short field goal. That one's up, and it is good. It's a low line drive kick, and the Eagles will add 3 points. They're up 2 possessions now on Walsh, and again, from the Walsh perspective, not really being a team that is too great, passing the ball. This can't really be a good thing for them.
Yeah, not a good start for them. Nice play there by Gary Ransom on that 3rd down play to bring Cameron Green down just shy to stop the drive. But still down 10-0 for Walsh. And we feel like we keep harping on this. This is not an explosive offense. This is one that can keep churning if they get some momentum. But they're going to be looking for some big plays now, and that's not what they're really well suited for.
10-0 our score here in the 1st quarter. We've got just under 4 minutes to play here in the 1st frame at Ashland University. Here's head coach Ted Karras of the Walsh Cavaliers. He's really taken this program, and looks like they're starting to turn the corner a little bit, especially after a great win last week against Tiffin.
Right, this is his 2nd year as the head coach. This is their 2nd year as full members of the GLIAC. They have an all-GLIAC corner over in Jamaris Brown. They've recruited in several transfers to try to get that talent level up right away. It'll be interesting to see how this Walsh Cavaliers team does over the next several years.
Samens' kick is a low line drive. That one is taken by Brown as Jamaris Brown gets out to about the 30 after breaking a few tackles, maybe the 28, as we see Jamaris Brown touch the ball for the first time, and we find out why he's all GLIAC on 1 kick return there.
Right. Did a good job there. Didn't have a whole lot to work with. Was able to make a couple Eagles miss. But good job there by the Eagles to maintain their lanes, not let him get too far outside.
And Jamaris Brown pretty good on defense for the Cavaliers as well. But he's also their primary kick and punt returner. So Ton back in here for Walsh's 3rd drive of the day. They really moved the ball last time they had it, but they couldn't quite convert. And it was a turnover on downs for the Cavs. Stopped in the backfield there. A great job by the Eagle defense. Lots of Eagles in on the play. Looked like Adam Wallace, the linebacker, was leading the charge there.
Yeah, nice job there by Wallace. Primarily a running back in high school. And as a sophomore, was converted over to defensive end and now playing the outside linebacker. Very nice job there by Wallace.
A couple other Eagles in there to help take him down there on the play. Wallace 3 tackles last week, 1 for a loss. Converted to D-end over the offseason. Ton takes this one from the gun. A little screen pass out to the left-hand side. Taken, and a gain of about nothing. As again, the Eagle defense comes up strong.
Outside linebacker Chris Harvey there to make the play. Great open field tackle to bring down Aaron Mayo before he has a chance to get going.
He led the team in tackles last year with 88. And he was a 2nd-team All-GLIAC selection, and we saw why right there.
Right, the senior linebacker from Columbus, really helping to anchor this very experienced core with Cody Bloom next to him, and Zach Olszewski, who got quite a bit of playing time his freshman year. This is an experienced linebacking core for the Eagles.
3rd and long now for Ton, as this Ashland University crowd starts to get a little bit loud. Ton throws this one off to the left-hand side, and it's almost picked off. couldn't quite hang on to it. That's Donzel Ashley, the senior corner from Chico, California, transfer from Butte College.
Yeah, did a good job just to break up this pass. That would have been a spectacular interception had Ashley brought it down, but still enough to force the Walsh Cavaliers to punt.
Walsh punting on 4th down. This is Tim Carter, the punter, seeing his first action of the day as Walsh elected to go for it on 4th down. Last time they had the ball. It's a long punt with a lot of hang time. Pico takes it, gets to the 30, down to the 35 before he's ran out of bounds around the 36.
Nice job there by Pico. Didn't try to do too much, got a couple yards, and now this Eagles offense that's really been firing on all cylinders so far. He's going to get back out there again with some pretty good field position.
So here comes the Eagle offense. Travis Tarnowski, a pretty good day already so far for the Eagles. Maybe not as good of a day as he had against Lake Erie, but it'll be pretty hard to replicate those results.
Right, and with the running game that he's getting from Taylor and Settlemeyer, it's tough to ask Tarnowski to do very much.
He's got one back in the backfield. He drops back to pass instead. That one goes over to the right-hand side. That's Drew Brenner, the junior from Orrville. Had no catches last week. He caught 4 passes in 2013. He's the 4th receiver listed for the Eagles. It seems like he might get a few more opportunities here in 2014.
Yeah, nice quick pass there from Tarnowski. Picked up a couple yards, and that's all you can ask for. Sure hands out of the junior receiver there.
Taylor still in the backfield for the Eagles as Tarnowski lines up under center in the I. Play action. That one's deep, and it's caught by Pico around midfield, around the 45-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Eagles. Dan Pico having another great game.
Yeah, Pico's such a versatile receiver, willing to run those over-the-middle routes. Again, Pico's not the biggest guy out there, but he's willing to go over the middle and take the big hit, hold on to the catch there. Really nice play there between Pico and Tarnowski.
We'll see Settlemeyer and Anthony Taylor on the field now for the Eagles, as this one will go to the right-hand side to Settlemeyer. Breaks it out after getting stopped initially, and he will get down to about the 38, and it'll be second and about 5.
And nice job there from Settlemeyer. Able to make something out of nothing there. There were Walsh Cavaliers in the backfield seemingly as he was getting the handoff, but able to make something out of nothing. Get a couple yards there for the Eagles to keep them in a 2nd and 5 situation.
Nicholas King with the tackle from the Walsh defense. He had a couple of them last week, 36 last year, and he only started a couple games. Again, up front, this Walsh defense is a little bit young. Tarnowski under pressure, couldn't quite get the screen pass off, and the Walsh defense was all over the freshman quarterback there.
Yeah, heavy blitz there. Tarnowski lucky to get rid of that ball. He's got to watch that, though. That pass easily could have been picked. Wire did a good job of almost playing defense there.
Aaron Wire, the fullback, did catch 2 passes last week for 59 yards. Some big gainers from the fullback. You don't usually see that in offenses too often.
Right, typically your fullback will get a couple yards of carry, if that.
Tarnowski back to pass again. This one is a little screen over to Settlemeyer on the left-hand side. He's got a first down to the 29. The Eagles again driving the ball, converting another 3rd down.
Nice quick pass there from Tarnowski. Again, a guy like Van Settlemeyer, once you get him into space, he's got the speed to really, really gain some yards after the catch.
We're seeing a lot of Settlemeyer and a lot of Anthony Taylor here to start this game. Haven't seen McCune come into the game yet, but I'm sure we're not too far away from seeing Big McCune get a couple carries right down the tackles. Tarnowski in the shotgun again. That's Taylor off to his left-hand side. Taylor gets it right up the middle. Maybe a gain of 1. Not much going for the Eagles there. Stuffing up the middle for the Walsh Cavaliers. Cody Mead.
Nice job there by the Walsh defensive line to break up that run before it even gets started as the first quarter here comes to an end.
All right, we've got zeros on the clock. We've got your second frame coming up in just a little bit. 10-0, Ashland University with the lead. We'll be back right after this. Stadium, 10-0 our score. The Ashland University Eagles leading Walsh University as we start the second quarter. It's been really a pretty dominant first quarter for AU here.
Yeah, Walsh hasn't really been able to get anything going offensively, and the Eagles have really relied heavily on that running game. And Tarnowski's been able to do what's necessary, but really this Eagles running backs between Taylor and Settlemeyer have really done a great job getting the Eagles ahead.
Tarnowski in the shotgun. That is McCune over to his right-hand side. It's a pass and goes to the right. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2. That's Tompkins' first catch of the day, as the Eagles will have a third and about 4.
It's a nice play there by Jamaris Brown, the all-GLIAC corner, bringing Tompkins down on the open field before he has a chance to really get any yards after the catch.
McCune will stay in the game for the Eagles as he sees his first action at running back for the day. Tarnowski again in the shotgun. Split receivers off to the right, and he'll send one in motion to the left. Back to pass, scrambles a little bit. A deep throw over to the left-hand side, and that's incomplete, looking for Pico in the end zone.
Yeah, nice throw there by Tarnowski, a little bit short, but it's nice to see the freshman being willing to take those chances downfield and keep the Walsh Cavaliers defense honest.
Not just taking chances, but putting it where the defender wouldn't be able to pick it off.
Right, he's careful with the ball and no turnovers, only sacked once last week. Doing a good job, especially for a freshman, of protecting the ball.
Tarnowski had a pretty good first quarter, 6 for 9, 49 yards, and had a 19-yard pass as his long. Hasn't been sacked yet either, so again, give some big credit to that Eagle offensive line. This one goes out to McCune on the right-hand side. He's got a first down to about the 14-yard line. Jordan McCune with his first touch of the day, and the Eagles, again, using that three-headed running back monster to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, must have heard us talking about him as that in-between-the tackles running back wants to prove us wrong. Gets out to the sideline.
77, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
That holding call on Belial Knight will move the ball backwards. Belial Knight, the senior from Cleveland Shaw High School, and he's a 4-year starter at right tackle. That's a mistake that he knows better.
And we're seeing the holding well up, almost out to the 20-yard line there. And it's going to get called just about every time in the open field like that.
Yeah, anytime you see the jersey being held on to, and Nicholas King, the right outside linebacker, going down there for Walsh, that's a no-brainer as far as holding calls are concerned. AU wants to take a second timeout now, perhaps think things over as we have a 4th and long.
Yeah, 4th and 10, but at the 30-yard line. So you're a little close to be punting, a little far to be kicking a field goal. They're in that kind of in-between scenario where they're going to have to try to get 10 yards here on this play. It'll be interesting to see what the Eagles do coming out of this timeout.
Well, you got to think the one thing that's probably out of the question here on 4th and 10 at the 30 is a punt. You're not going to punt it on the 30-yard line. You wouldn't think so anyway.
Right, you wouldn't think so, although they do use that pooch punt. They might try to pin the Cavaliers back. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Let's take a look at the GLIAC standings. Again, this is the South. We did have a little bit of North action last week as well. Ashland, Findlay, Ohio Dominican, and Walsh all winning last week. And Lake Erie, Malone, and Tiffin, of course, 2 of those teams lost to the teams that are out here today. The North standings, we had not everybody played GLIAC games, but we did have everybody in action. Michigan Tech, Northwood, and Ferris State coming out with victories. So Tarnowski stays in on 4th down instead of Bruns. That's a completed pass by Pico. Will it be good enough for a first down?
Looks like they're bringing out the chains to measure.
You pretty much knew Ashland was going to go for it when you saw Tarnowski stay in instead of Bruns.
That was a very impressive throw there by Tarnowski off his back foot. Got the ball there quick. A nice awareness there by Pico to try to get the first down, but waiting to see whether or not he succeeded.
We'll see what the spot he got here is. Looks like it's going to be literally just inches short, and it'll be a first down for Walsh. Let's take a look at this again, because it looked like Pico tried to reach the ball out at the end of this play, but he might have already been out of bounds.
Yeah, he catches, and looks like, yeah, that's a tough call to see from that angle. Pico was right there, and even the call was, I don't even know if I could say inches, might have been just an inch short.
Maybe a chain link and a half when they went out for the measurement. And Walsh will get their first turnover on downs of the day and come out on offense. Maybe that's the momentum that the Cavaliers were looking for. Brody Ton in the shotgun now, back to his left-hand side. It's an option play out to the left. He'll keep it down to about the 28. It's a nice run by Ton there. He's got a little bit of speed. Again, he was converted from receivers act.
Right. Ton, you'd imagine as a receiver having some speed. Good job there by the left side of that offensive line. Dana Harris, Kevin Pask, and Zach Conlon at center. Harris and Conlon both transfers from Youngstown, and Pask, an honorable mention, all GLIAC. It's a solid left side of your line for Ton to run behind.
2nd and 5 for Walsh. Looks like they Ton might have stepped out of bounds a little bit sooner than we originally thought. That one's completed for about a couple of yards. Great play by Zach Olszewski. He had a nice game last week, 4 tackles, 1 fumble recovery.
And already all over the field today. Called his name several times in the backfield, making open field tackles. And as a sophomore, that's the kind of thing Lee Owens has to be excited about for the future.
3rd and short now for Walsh. As Ton goes under center. 2 backs in the backfield, 1 split out to the left, 1 straight behind him, another in motion there. And that's a gain of about 2 or 3. It looks like it will be good enough for a first down.
Cody Blumen there in the tackle. Got just enough there for the first down as the Cavaliers are moving the chains.
First time we've called Bloom's name here today. He had a great week last week. 12 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Seemed like he was pretty anxious to get back on a football field.
Right. After missing most of last year due to injury, he's willing to trying to get back out there and reestablish that all GLIAC, all-American name.
Ton again with multiple backs in the backfield. This is a pass out to the left, and it's completed down to about the 50. Gerald Robinson on the catch. He had 6 catches last week, and that was just a great pitch and catch from Ton to Robinson.
Yeah, 7 touchdown catches last year. Take another look here. Ton drops back and just lets that one fly. Robinson got open, found a soft spot in the zone. Nice job there by the Walsh Cavaliers getting something going offensively.
James Esther on the tackle for the Eagles. Nice job making sure that Robinson didn't get any extra yardage after the catch. Pitch out goes to the right-hand side. Good for a couple of yards before he's ridden out of bounds. That's Justin Keith. Again, he's more of the between-the-tackles runner for the Cavs, but the Cavs will run the ball with even some of their receivers at.
Right. We talked about Matt Mutsaka had 5 rushes last week. Keith had 12 rushes. Aaron Mayle had 8. Luke Lloyd, who we haven't called yet, he had 5 rushes last week. You're going to see a lot of guys touching the ball for the Cavaliers, which keeps the Eagles off balance, not sure who to expect to have the ball.
2 wingbacks and a tailback right behind Ton right here. It does go to the tailback as Keith takes it again. No gain on the play this time. Oh, and Ashland says that they have the ball.
The referees are whistling it dead, though. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to come away with that turnover. It was the corner for the Eagles. Sorry, no, it's Chris Harvey, the outside linebacker, getting in on the play there. But again, nice job there by the Eagles' defensive line to stuff that play right at the line.
Let's take a look at this play again. See when the ball popped out. Might have been after he was down. I'm not sure if we got a really good angle on that, but Harvey did come down with the football at the end.
It was Tim Lear, defensive tackle, and Adam Wallace at outside linebacker. Both of them doing a good job getting in to stuff that play.
Ton back to pass. That one is complete. Just an amazing catch by the receiver. And that'll be a first down. Anthony Schrock with the catch. He played 2 games last season only. because he had a torn ACL. But the coaches say this kid has the best hands in program history.
Yeah, and the Walsh game notes, one of the first things they note that Anthony Schrock is back. 5 catches last week for 55 yards, and you can see why. Just an outstanding job to elevate, get both hands, and go down for the first down.
Pitch goes to the left-hand side as Keith hurdles over an Eagle defender, gain of about 5 or 6.
Yeah, Keith has really been the workhorse back for them so far. Kind of surprising. Haven't seen as much of Mayo or Lloyd or even Matsuka. A whole lot of Keith, and he's been pretty good back for them so far.
Walsh starting to move the ball a little bit easier here in the second quarter as well. We've got about 10 minutes left on the clock here before we hit halftime. Ton under center. He's got 2 wing backs, and Keith straight behind him yet again. Wing back in motion. Keith gets it. Straight up the middle, nothing doing, maybe a gain of 3 or 4. Keith, one of those guys that just seems to fall forward. Cody Bloom in on the tackle for the Eagles.
Yeah, that's that experience. Justin Keith, the senior running back, brought down there by Cody Bloom. But again, Keith doing a good job. Didn't have a lot of space, but now they're in a 3rd and 2 situation, which is the kind of situation the Cavaliers want to be in.
3rd and short now. Walsh does have the ability to kick longer field goals than Ashland does. You'd have to think that they are in field goal territory at this point if they weren't to convert here. Handoff goes right up the middle again. It's going to be close to a first down. We'll see where the spot's at. Cody Blooms again on the tackle. And they're running it right at the Eagles' strength there.
Yeah, that was Calvin Gordon, the freshman running back out of Mansfield. It's going to be really close, and they're going to mark him just short, about a yard and a half to go. It looks like the Cavaliers are going to go for it.
Gordon saw 3 touches last week for 12 yards. We'll see how big of a part he'll be in the Walsh offense here today. Cavs have 4th and about 2 as Ton goes under center. Rolls out to the right-hand side, and he'll get the first down and then some as he gets ridden out of bounds around the 18-yard line. Nice little keeper by Ton. Again, we mentioned he's a converted receiver, so he's got a little bit more speed than your average quarterback out there.
And nice job there. They've run that look several times with that back in motion. Every time they've pitched it or handed off. Now Ton able to roll out. Not a whole lot of Eagle defense on that side. Gets a nice gain there and keeps this drive alive for the Cavaliers.
It seems like that's what Walsh wanted to try and do. Keep pounding it up the middle with Keith over and over and over again. And then Ton had the play fake, able to just roll out to the right-hand side for an easy first down. Didn't even get touched. 1st and 10 for Walsh at the 18. Ton throws this one down the right-hand side of the field, and that's a touchdown, folks. Gerald Robinson with his 2nd catch of the day. An 18-yard reception, and Walsh has pulled within 3.
That was a nice job there by Ton. The Eagles' defense, Adam Wallace, was bearing down on him, but he was able to get that pass away, and nice job by Robinson to get that foot in bounds and score the touchdown there for the Cavaliers, getting them on the board.
Robinson had 7 touchdowns in 2013. That's his first of this season, and you got to think the Walsh offense now, a little bit of confidence as this game gets pretty close.
And that was a nice drive there, ate some clock, marched all the way down the field. Good drive there by Ton and the Cavaliers.
Place kicker Michael Dudix, his kick is up and good. Made a 47-yarder last week. He played 2 seasons of Walsh soccer, and this is his first year as the place kicker for the Cavaliers football team.
And nice job there by him with that kick. Again, this Eagles defense got beat down a little bit there. Be interesting to see how they come out with their next drive. But now the ball getting handed back to this Ashland Eagles offense that has performed very well so far.
So 10-7 our score here as we are in the middle of the second quarter, looking at that touchdown again from Ton to Robinson. Robinson did a nice job coming down with this ball.
Yeah, nice fake there by Ton. Robinson able to get it, have the awareness to know how to get into the end zone, kind of backpedaling his way in there. The coverage there by Donzel Ashley just not quite enough as the Cavaliers get themselves on the board.
Robinson, the senior from Canton. A lot of football on his resume. Sure that's not his first touchdown in the corner of the end zone. We'll see Dudix again on the kickoff. His first one of the day is Walsh has scored for the first time here this evening. Dudix has a little onside pooch kick, and that one's, I think it's going to be received by Walsh, although it is in Ashland possession right here. I believe if the offense touches it after 10 yards, it's going to be offensive football.
Well, there's a lot going on there. It looked like Dudix kicked a surprise onside kick. They saw Donzel Ashley falling back too fast. Let's listen to the referee's explanation here.
Even the referees are confused after that one, Zach.
That's a surprise onside kick. It was a nice job there, though, by Dudix. Like you said, first-year kicker. To be aware, to look for Donzel Ashley backpedaling a little too early. So the referees are still talking about this, trying to figure out exactly what happened on that play and who's going to be taking the ball.
Here comes the call.
Offsides. Kicking team, 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. We also have a sideline warning against Ashland.
All right, so it will be Ashland football because the kicking team did not finish with possession. The onside kick looked like it was going to work for Walsh there. However, whoever was at that part of the field decided to throw it back in bounds, and that gave the Eagles a chance to take the kick.
Yeah, Justin Turner, the strong safety there for the Cavaliers, gets it, wasn't going to stay in bounds, and then he throws it over to Donzel Ashley, who actually intercepts it, and now the Eagles have, again, really good field position.
Tough break for Walsh as Tarnowski gets that one out to the right-hand side. It is completed to Pico. He took a hit at the end of the play. It'll be second and maybe a yard.
A big hit there from Alglia, corner Jamaris Brown. But again, Pico, the senior receiver, the possession receiver, he's got the good hands, and he can hang on and take those big hits.
Coach Ted Karras rolled the dice for the Cavaliers and came up empty that time on the onside kick. It looked like a pretty good decision, though. Almost caught Ashland off guard.
It definitely did catch the Eagles off guard, just that slight miss on the execution.
Tarnowski under center now. McCune is the back. He will get it up the middle, and he'll take it for a gain of maybe a yard and a half. Should be good for a first down, depending on the spot.
Yep, nice job there from McCune. And those are the kind of runs you expect from McCune. Head down, right up the middle.
It will be a first down for Ashland as they try to put a few more points on the board. The Ashland offense not rolling as quickly as they were against Lake Erie. Probably won't have too many games like the Lake Erie game, but Walsh has done a little bit better of a job at holding the Eagles to not score as often.
Right, 66 points isn't something you can count on week in and week out, but the Eagles offense has done a good job. Keep steadily moving forward.
Two receivers off to the right as Tarnowski looks for Brenner in the end zone. That's incomplete.
Yeah, Tarnowski rolling to his left, right-handed quarterback. That's going to be a tough play for the freshman. Nice job there. Almost gets the throw, being very heavily pursued by Walsh defensive lineman.
6:18 before halftime as these two teams are neck and neck. AU leads 10-7 as Tarnowski will line up for a 2nd and 10.
As dominant as the Eagles looked in this first quarter, it is something for Walsh to have stuck around and only be down 3 points right here.
And we're going to get one team calling a timeout here. Let's see who it's on.
Looks like an Eagles timeout.
That will be their third and final timeout as Lee Owens has used all of his timeouts here before. Really, you want to get to the point where you're managing timeouts at the end of the half, but trying to pick your spots and figure out the right call for the right time.
Right, Eagles getting down into that scoring territory, 2nd and 10. Eagles, after giving up that touchdown and then having that scare on the onside kick, could do a lot for them if they can get in the end zone here and sort of quell the storm, so to speak.
Getting close, if not already in field goal range as well. So at this point, you have to think that Ashland will end this drive with at least a few points.
Right there, right about the 20-yard line.
I spoke with Coach Owens last week trying to get a feel for what his kicker's maximums were, and he said Well, if there's little or no wind, then probably in around the 20-yard line, 25-yard line is where the maximum would be. But of course, if it's fourth and short, there's always the option of possibly going for it as well. Tarnowski hands this one off to McCune up the middle for a gain of about 4 or 5. It'll be third and a handful for the Eagles.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of McCune in this second quarter. It almost seems as if it was by design to have McCune really get a lot of carries here in the second quarter.
We'll see if the big back can get going here on third down. Tarnowski in the shotgun this time around. Bunch receivers over to the left. That's a pass complete down to the 5-yard line as Pico catches another one. It really seems like Dan Pico is going to be a big part of the offense this year.
He had 8 catches last week. And again, he's just that reliable target that the freshman can look to. You know if you're getting it to Tarnowski, from Tarnowski to Pico, you know you have a reliable receiver.
And great hands by Dan Pico. And, of course, he not only catches the ball, but he holds on to it as well.
Yeah, he does always do a good job. Can take that big hit. Especially not a very large guy, but more than comfortable going out over the middle of the field.
This one goes to McCune over to the left-hand side and in the end zone for an Eagle touchdown. Jordan McCune.
Nice job there from McCune. And not to make light, but that's the kind of hole that a guy like me could run through. McCune had a lot of space on that touchdown. Really nice job there by the Eagles' offensive line to open that kind of space for him.
3 touchdowns on the season for McCune. He sees his first of the day as the Eagles again take a 2-possession lead. Saman's on to kick the extra point for AU with 5:14 left on the clock before we hit halftime. Snap's good, kicks up, kicks good, and the Eagles have a 17-7 lead over the Walsh Cavaliers.
Again, really nice run there from McCune. And just a nice drive there from the Eagles to respond to that Walsh touchdown, respond to the onside kick. It's the kind of drive you needed for the Eagles to really reestablish that dominance that they had early on in the game.
We talked about the big holes that McCune had on that touchdown drive. Really just followed in his big lineman on the left-hand side. The junior Jonathan Sippa, left tackle, 6'5", 296, and of course 6'4", senior James Triplett over at left guard, 293. Those big hog mollies getting a few holes up front for him.
Right, Sippa starter last year at right guard. This is his first time over at the tackle position. And Triplett, all GLIAC honorable mention in the guard spot last year. A lot of experience on this Eagle offensive line. And it really shows on runs like that.
Eagles will kick again. We've got 5:14 on the clock. They're up 17-7. Walsh will try and put some points on the board before we head into the locker room. Kickoff again is a long one. This one's a little bit higher. Taken by Brown, down to the 30, down to the 40, breaks about a couple tackles, and he's finally taken down around the 38.
You have a little bit of pushing and shoving there. Got a pretty big hit there on Brown by Donzel Ashley, the corner for the Eagles.
That's 2 cornerbacks going at it there. Jamaris Brown had a 66-yard punt return last week, so this is a guy who does have some speed and can break it really at any point.
He did do a very good job there. Even just there, I was probably 1 or 2 moves away from really breaking that one home. Still, though, the Cavaliers starting at the 40, good field position for them.
Brody Ton in to start this drive for the Cavs. Under center. Drops back to pass. There's not a whole lot of time left. That one was in and out of the hands of Donzel Ashley. Could have had a pick 6 there.
Yeah, he had a couple Eagle defenders right there. Just missed taking that pick. But nice job there by the Eagle defense, not giving Ton a whole lot of time. And nice deflection there by the Eagle secondary.
And there was no one in front of Donzel Ashley, perhaps thinking more about what kind of celebration he would do waltzing into the end zone rather than keeping a hold on that football. 2nd and 10 now for Ton as he lines up in the shotgun. Back to pass. Deep down the right-hand side, that's incomplete. Gerald Robinson, who had the big catch last time, a couple big ones on that last drive for the Cavs, unable to come up with it.
Yeah, he had a little bit of separation there, but Ton just overthrew him a little bit. They're really going at Donzel Ashley. He's doing a pretty good job out there, though, for the Eagles. Not letting too much space, although obviously Robinson does have the touchdown grab from earlier in the game.
And I'm not sure if it's purposefully going after Donzel Ashley. It might just be trying to get the ball to Gerald Robinson, probably their best receiver out here. Ton back in the shotgun. Ashley on the blitz. That one's deflected by the AU defense, and it'll be ran for a first down to about the 45. I don't know if I've ever seen that series of events as Keith, the big running back, gets a first down for Walsh. Not how they drew it up, but it worked anyway.
Yeah, Ashley came in on that blitz completely untouched. Ton did a nice job of taking a couple steps back. Ball deflected before Keith is able to get a hold of it, and then he's able to break a couple tackles, get into some open space, and now Walsh is into Ashland territory on the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Justin Keith, the kind of running back that if you don't get a couple hands on and wrap him up, he's probably going to run right through you. So a fresh set of downs for the Cavs as they're into Ashland territory now. Ton back to pass. Fakes it over to the right, goes down the middle. He's got wide open receiver. That's Darryl Gray, the senior from Fort Myers. Couldn't quite complete that, but he blew right past the Ashland coverage.
Yeah, that's the kind of play that makes Coach Rose, the defensive coordinator, shake a little bit. Wide open. That's a touchdown if Ton can just get the ball to Darryl Gray. Doesn't need to be a great pass with that much space.
Gray, 8th all-time in receptions for Walsh. 88 career catches for the Cavs. The senior from Fort Myers, Florida, had one catch for 36 yards and a touchdown last week. Ton rolls out to the right-hand side, and he is sacked. I guess you can call that a sack. He kind of tripped over himself after some pressure from Zach Olszewski. We'll go ahead and give Zach the sack on that one. Let's take a look at it again. I'm not sure if he really made contact, but just the threat of him being there had Ton tripping up.
Yeah, Olszewski got in there. Looked like Ton caught that and planned on taking off running. Designed run there for Ton. But again, tripped and fell. The ground monsters got him there. Now they're all the way backed up to the 50. They need to get to the Eagle 34-yard line for a first down.
That's the second game in a row that Olszewski's had with a tackle for a loss. 3rd and about 16 for the Cavs. Pressure again. That one is completed to Keith, but Hill gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 10. Great job by the Eagles defense, not just getting pressure, but preventing Keith from getting more yards after the catch.
Defensive end Chase Hubler making the open field tackle. Nice to see a lineman able to backtrack like that after Keith was able to break the Chris Harvey tackle. Again, the guy led the team in tackles last year. He's not missing many tackles. Keith doing a very good job.
Walsh lining up to punt. Their punter, Tim Carter, had 2 punts last week, a 37-yarder and a 33-yarder. That one dangerously close to being blocked. But the punt does what it's supposed to do and goes out of bounds around the 12-yard line.
Looks like they're going to give a pretty favorable Eagle spot. They're going to take over at the 19-yard line.
All right, so we'll see what Lee Owens wants to do here. He can run the ball with 2:38 left on the clock before halftime and perhaps take a lead going into the half, or he could try and put some more points on the board, Zach.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Owens handles the situation. We'll probably get a pretty good idea of it right off the gate. McCune is back out there again for the Eagles. It seems like he's had the second quarter monopolized. He's been the only guy we've seen out there.
Great crowd tonight for Family Weekend here at Ashland University. Of course, lots of students here with their families as the carry goes for no yards, maybe a half yard for McCune.
And just swallowed up immediately there by the Walsh defense. And it looks like Owens is going to take this into half comfortably up with a 10-point lead.
He will need to get a first down if he wants to run it all the way. McCune stays on the field, so you have to think there's a few more coming up the middle for the Ashland offense.
Fullback Anthony Wire there as well, lining up in that I formation that the Eagles will run.
McCune gets the carry for about 3, maybe 4 yards. It'll be third and a handful for the Eagles.
You know, if you're Walsh, though, as well as the Eagles played in the first quarter, you got to be somewhat pleased with yourself only going down 10 points. It was a dominant first quarter by the Eagles. So it's a little bit hopeful for the Cavaliers that they're still in this game.
Owens again letting the clock run down. We're down to about 1:20 on our game clock. Still 10 on the play clock as well, so we could get down to 1:10 before this snap. This one goes up the middle, and it will be a first down for the Eagles. Some nice after first contact yards there. That wasn't McCune. Who was the back down at the bottom?
Looked like Settlemeyer. Yeah, there was Settlemeyer coming out of the pile. Again, you don't necessarily associate Settlemeyer with carrying the pile, but he's showing that he is able to withstand some contact. Broke 3 or 4 tackles there from Walsh before 4 Cavaliers were able to bring him down for the first down.
And we've seen Settlemeyer go in during those 2-back formations that Lee Owens has been running here today. And he's gotten a few carries, even with Anthony Taylor and Jordan McCune on the field. This one's play action to McCune as Tarnowski will run with it himself down to about the 40-yard line before he's ridden out of bounds.
Interesting scenario now for the Eagles to be in at the 40-yard line. Not a whole lot of time left on the clock, but the Eagles looks like now they're trying to get something going.
Clock stopped as the ball went out of bounds. 34 seconds left on the clock. 17-7, Ashland leading right before halftime. We'll see if the offense can do anything here on second and short.
Tompkins and Green both out there, both deep threats for the Eagles.
That's a handoff to Taylor, and he'll take it down to about the 41, maybe 42. That's Settlemeyer, not Taylor, excuse me.
I don't think I've seen Taylor out here for the entire second quarter.
Great job by the Walsh defense to wrap up the Ashland ball carrier. Lee Owens can send this to the half. It looks like the Eagles will go ahead and let the clock run out. 17-7 our score at halftime here, Zach. The Eagles not necessarily blowing out Walsh on the scoreboard, but it seems like they've had a pretty good handle on the Cavaliers so far here today.
Yeah, with the exception of that one drive that the Cavaliers were able to mount, the Eagles have really controlled this game the entire time. However, only up 17-7. They will get the ball at the half. The Eagles are going to look to really put themselves in really good position coming out of the half, looking to get ahead in this game.
With a 10-point lead, you'd think that we'd also see a pretty healthy dose of all 3 running backs in the second half.
Yeah, you'd expect to. Well, it'll be interesting to see which backs are getting carries for the Eagles.
All right, 17-7. That's our score at the half. Ashland University leading Walsh. We'll be right back here on the AU football stream, produced by the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department. Welcome back to Jack Miller Stadium. Almost ready to start the second half as the Eagles have a 17-7 lead over Walsh. Zach, we were talking over halftime here. Really, this game's pretty close other than rushing yards. A lot of the stats compare well with each other.
Right. Eagles out in front with most of these statistical categories. 11 first downs to 8. Just shy in passing yards, 99 for Walsh to 87 for the Eagles. But the big disparity, rushing yards. 110 yards for the Eagles, led by Vance Settlemeyer, 52 yards. 27 for Taylor, 17 for McCune. Time of possession actually favors Walsh ever so slightly. It'll be interesting to see which team can come out and really take the advantage here.
And you have 2 quarterbacks playing their second games as college quarterbacks, and neither one of them has turned the ball over at all yet.
Right, they've both taken very good care of the ball. They both made some plays, though, when they needed to. Obviously, the Walsh touchdown coming from that Brady Tunn pass to Gerald Robinson. But Tarnowski's been able to make some plays, too. He's able to move the ball. But at the end of the day, the stat that does matter, the Eagles are up 17-7 here, and they're getting the ball at half.
So when you get the ball at halftime, if you're Coach Lee Owens, what do you do? Do you rely on your 3 running backs? Do you put the ball back in the hands of your freshman quarterback who's played so well today?
It might be worth trying to take a shot right out of the gate from Tarnowski, especially looking to a guy like Pico. They've had good chemistry so far today. On the other hand, though, you can really just keep running the ball. They've ran the ball very well. You haven't seen a lot of Taylor in the second quarter. It'll be interesting to see if he gets back involved. But McCune, 5 carries all in the second quarter. Settlemeyer has those 4 carries. He's averaging 13 yards a touch, especially off that 38-yard touchdown run he had in the first quarter. It'll be interesting to see how Ashland decides to play this.
The one thing you want to do, first thing out of the gate, is on this kickoff, make sure you know where the ball's at, because that could have been very disastrous in the first half for AU.
Right, if you're that Eagles front line on the kickoff, you are not moving early this time. You almost lost the ball on that surprise onside kick from Walsh. So just keep that discipline there. Let the kick come to you. You see Settlemeyer and Mike Taylor will be setting up deep for the return. Try to see if they can get something going right off this kickoff return. Or in this first possession, look for the Eagles to try to reestablish this offensive dominance they had in the first quarter.
Walsh getting set to kick off to start this second half. We've only seen the Walsh kicker once here to kick off. It's Michael Dudix. Dudix made a 47, not 74-yard field goal. He'd be in the NFL tomorrow if he made a 74-yard field goal. A 47-yarder last week, really has a good boot. He's a former Walsh soccer player. This is his first year on the football team, but head coach Ted Karras came in and said, you can probably kick a ball that's shaped differently as well, and snatched him up, and he's been doing pretty well for Walsh so far this season. That one's kicked deep down to about the 1-yard line as Taylor receives. He'll take it to the 15, bounces back to the inside, down to the 20, maybe the 21. It'll essentially be a touchback as the Eagles start their first drive of the second half.
Yep, nice job there in the return. It'll be really interesting to see what the Eagles do here. Tarnowski's out there. Anthony Taylor's out there for the Eagles as well. They're sending out a couple wide receivers there. You have the big play receivers, Tompkins and Green, along with Pico, and the tight end, Matt Schweitzer's out there for the Eagles as well.
So we didn't see Taylor at all in the second quarter, but we do see him start the third here. That's play action to Taylor as the pass goes to the left-hand side as the tight end Schweitzer will have a gain of a couple.
Yeah, he came up limping there. He's hobbling a little bit. Nice quick pass there from Tarnowski. They've ran that play a couple times, just trying to get a couple yards going. Might have tweaked his ankle a little bit there on that grab, but he's staying out there for the Eagles.
Tarnowski looking much more at his tight ends here against Walsh than the Eagles did against Lake Erie. Travis runs out to the right-hand side and gets the pass for a first down to Pico around the 30-yard line.
That's Pico's 6th catch of the day. Looks like the Eagles are going to come out and try to establish that passing threat. And it wouldn't surprise me if they try to get back to that run later on, but right now they're moving the ball well through the air, getting the first down right away.
About 62 yards receiving on the day for the Eagles' leading receiver here so far in this young 2014 season.
Only receiver with multiple catches so far today. His 6th grab.
Tarnowski takes the snap, goes deep down the left-hand side, wide open. Was Eric Tompkins, but the pass falls incomplete as Tompkins couldn't just quite get a handle on the ball.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. We'll take another look here. Tough to tell if Tompkins dropped it. The ball was broken up by Pierre Raymond, the corner. Tompkins had that, went to the ground, and lost it. That was a bang play. One that, higher levels you might see reviewed, but it's going to be called incomplete.
Tough break for Tompkins. Had possession of the ball, and the ground caused the incomplete pass. This one goes to Taylor to the right-hand side. He'll look to find a lane. Couldn't quite find anything as the Walsh defense did a good job wrapping him up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nice job there by the Walsh defense. Taylor patiently looking for something. And 91 there, Skylar Parks, the junior defensive tackle. He's a transfer from Notre Dame, one of the only Division II transfers that the Walsh defense has out there. But a nice play there by Parks to break up that run. Now the Eagles are in a 3rd and long situation.
38 tackles and a couple sacks for Parks in 2013. Oh, Tarnowski is sacked. So rough play there by the Eagles, as there was pressure on the left-hand side for Walsh, and not really much Tarnowski could do at that point.
That's C.J. Chapman, the Cavalier defender. Tarnowski didn't feel the backside pressure unless that redshirt freshman, maybe more experienced quarterback might have seen that coming, but not much he could do before Chapman was all over him.
So the safety blitz by Walsh forces an AU punt, and this one takes a friendly Eagle bounce down to about the 32-yard line in Walsh territory. So not particularly a very good drive or a very long kick, but lucky bounce at the end. It will give Walsh just moderate field position to start their first drive of the second half.
Yeah, that's a real nice way to start there if you're the Walsh Cavaliers. That after that first couple passes, that first down, seemed like the Eagles were going to get something going, but a big sack there, missed opportunity there by Eric Tompkins, and now the Cavaliers have a real chance to get themselves back into this game.
Cavs back on offense. Brody Ton under center now. He'll get the pitch out to the right-hand side. No, it's a pick, and it's picked off by the Eagles. Down to the 15, to the 10, inside the 5-yard line, and in for the score. Ashland University with a touchdown.
So Adam Wallace picks off the deflected pass, gets it to about the 10, is brought down, fumbles, and then the Eagles are able to recover the fumble and take it in. That was Schwederman with the recovered fumble on the interception touchdown. Not one I would have expected to see today.
So the Eagle defense with an interception and a fumble return for a touchdown on the same play here.
And this was all started off by the deflection there. Wallace gets it, gets running. He goes down. The ball is stripped by the Cavaliers right at the 10-yard line, and Schwederman comes in to recover it. Great play by Schwederman to keep his head up and get that touchdown for the Eagles.
Extra points up and good. So Ashland falling a little bit flat on offense to start their first drive of the second half. But the defense putting some points on the board as the Eagles go up by another score now, 24-7.
And we just talked about how important it was that Brady Ton had not turned the ball over, and you can see why. That quick turnover there. And now the Eagles really have all the momentum. Walsh is in a tough spot here, down 24-7. They need to get going right away here.
And it might not even have been that bad of a pass from Brody Ton, but it got deflected at the line, and when you tip that ball up in the air, anybody can come down with it.
Right. Adam Wallace coming down with the interception, the outside linebacker. Again, primarily a running back in high school, but that was a nice play by the Walsh Cavaliers to try to punch that ball out. They do, but Schwederman is there to take it into the end zone. Great string of events there for the Eagles as they're now up 24-7.
The sophomore from Sterling, Ohio, had 3 tackles last week, 1 for a loss. Again, did play a whole lot of linebacker in high school, was really recruited to Ashland as a running back, but he's really found a role here on the AU defense as this one's taken to about the 25 by Walsh, and that's where they will start their second drive on the second half. And hopefully for the Cavaliers, it ends in a little bit better fashion.
Yeah, Brady Ton now coming back out there. Let's see how he reacts to what was very likely his first college interception. He played very well last week, and now he's going to come out and recover.
Ton did throw 1 pick last week, but he was 16 for 25 sacks. So only had 9 interceptions. One of those did go in the defense's hands, but you're right. So far, he has done a pretty good job playing quarterback for Walsh, and this is a handoff down to the left-hand side of the field. It'll be a first down and more for the Cavs.
Yeah, that's Matt Mutsaka with his first carry. Seen him a couple times in the kick return game. This is the kind of thing that Walsh will do to you, though. They'll run some almost triple option feeling plays there. Keeps the Eagles off balance defensively. Problem is they need to keep gashing the Ashland defense like that if they plan on sticking with that down as much as they are in this game.
Matuska, the wingback, had 5 rushes for 36 yards in the win over Tiffin a week ago. Brody over to his right-hand side, right through the hands of his receiver. And it's down on the field, and we have an Ashland Eagle down as well.
Yeah, that's Chris Harvey, the outside linebacker. Been playing very well. Spent quite a bit of time in the backfield. But he's down. Not quite sure what happened to him on that play. Again, he was pressuring the ball, got right into the backfield on that quick pass.
It's never a good sign when you immediately see trainers and coaches come onto the field. He is walking gingerly on his own power. Hopefully Harvey's okay.
And tough to tell what he injured on that play.
Harvey had a pretty good half in the first half, 3 tackles for the Eagles, and he's really been a big reason why they're up here today.
Yeah, he has played very well for them. It'll be interesting to see who's called upon to fill that void that Harvey's leaving behind.
2nd and 10 now for Walsh, as Ton lines up in the shotgun. Hands it off to his back, right up the middle. That's Keith, down to about the 45. It'll be another first down as Walsh continues to move the sticks.
Yeah, great job there from the center, Zach Conlon, and the right guard, Pete Wirsch, doing a good job opening up a hole for Keith. Just exploded right through the line. A lot of Eagle pressure, but they did a good job of clearing out the hole that they needed for Keith.
And a couple of those times when Ton faked that handoff up the middle and ran outside, he got big gains. So now the Eagle defense has to be prepared for more than one thing, as that handoff goes to Matuska to the left-hand side. Nice job by the Eagle defense. In on the tackle is Olszewski.
Yeah, you can tell with some experience there with the Eagle linebackers. You know, it's the second time they try to run that quick end around there from the wing back. This time, though, Olszewski's there to break it up before he can get going downfield.
We're seeing a few more Cavs get some handoffs here as Matuska's taken a few on this drive. Keith's had a couple. Haven't seen a whole lot of Aaron Mail since really he struggled in the first half.
A couple drop passes, wasn't running the ball very well. Keith, however, had been running the ball fairly well as any Cavalier had been.
This one goes down the left-hand side. It's no good. Walsh really wants a flag on that one. The referees might be saying that ball was uncatchable as Anthony Schrock laid out for it, and Donzel Ashley able to make sure he didn't come down with it.
Yeah, they might have some complaints there. Let's take a look at this pass here. Wow, it looked like Ashley was there a little bit early. Can't blame Walsh for being too upset with that, but no flag on the field. Now the Cavaliers are facing a 3rd and 8.
So 3rd and long for Walsh as they'll line up in the gun yet again, a back over to the left-hand side. 4 receivers set, 3 on the right. Brody takes this one over to the right-hand side, and that's going for a first down, maybe a touchdown, tackled inside the 10-yard line.
Tackled by Chris Harvey. Nice to see him back out on the field.
That was Keith, the big running back on the reception. You don't really think of him as a ball catcher, and the Eagle defense might have been playing on the receivers a little bit more than the running back there.
Yeah, Cody Bloom, had a chance there to make that tackle, and after that, there wasn't much in between. Nice job there by Harvey to play catch-up and save the touchdown.
Keith just beat Bloom around the edge for the long gainer for Walsh, and they're trying to put some points up on the board after the turnover led to AU points last time around. That one is incomplete, but it went right off of Gerald Robinson. Looked like it could have been a Walsh touchdown.
Yeah, James Esther there on the coverage. Nice job by him. Just in general, good coverage there by the Eagles. Way to not be sucked in there by the ball fake.
See this pass here again. Right into the hands of Robinson. Couldn't quite hold on to it. Might have got a finger on it there.
Esther got a piece of that before it got to Robinson. Really good coverage there as Robinson's lined up outside again facing Esther.
Brody Ton in the shotgun yet again. Had success with it on 3rd and long. That's how we got here inside the 10-yard line. Floats this one in the end zone, and again right through his receiver's hands as Anthony Schrock can't come up with it. Brady Ton's got to be thinking, what do I have to do to get a touchdown here?
There was some good coverage there from Donzel Ashley, forcing Ton to go up and make a more difficult pass than he might have liked. Nice job there by Schrock to try to get Ashley away. Ashley able to stick with him, keep the coverage, and force Schrock into the really difficult catch that he couldn't bring down.
Interesting to see Brody Ton really not be shaken by that interception at all. He's going right after the Ashland defense, and he's thrown some great balls where really only his receiver could catch it. Ton floats this one to the right end of the end zone, and it's no good, as Robinson was the intended receiver on that one as well. So we see a fade to the right, fade to the left, another fade to the right, and now it's 4th down, and we'll see the Walsh kick team come onto the field.
Good coverage there by Essler as he's able to bottle up Gerald Robinson, who had a pretty good first half, catching 2 balls for 37 yards and a touchdown, as Dudix comes out on the field for the field goal try.
Dudix, the soccer player, kicks this one up and good. So Walsh tacks on 3, 24-10 now. It's just a 2-touchdown lead for Ashland, as that lead narrows just a little bit, but at least Ashland kept Walsh out of the end zone.
Yeah, good job there defensively by the corners, Donzel Ashley and James Essler. The Walsh Cavaliers really tried to pick on both of those guys. They had some success as they marched on the field, but were able to toughen up in the red zone.
And if you're Walsh, the one good thing about that drive is that you didn't take a whole lot of time off the clock. 9:47 still left here in the third quarter, and just a 2-touchdown lead for AU. This game's far from over.
Right. If Walsh can come out here, they're going to be looking to get a stop here. If they can get a stop, get the ball back, they can continue to run that balanced offense that they're so successful with. It's interesting, both of these teams run some wide-ranging sets. You know, Walsh will have some elements of the triple option, and then down there in the red zone, they had 4 wide receivers most of the time. It's tough for an Eagle defense to prepare for so many different looks from the Walsh Cavaliers.
And if you're Lee Owens, you got to think, man, my team just needs to hold on to the football. Haven't had a turnover yet this season with the starting offensive group. Bruns did throw an interception last week. However, that was well after the game was out of hands. This one's down to about the 36-yard line. A nice return there by the Eagles.
And Cameron Green back there, seeing a lot of different Eagles shuffled in and out for kick return duties.
Cameron Green, the speedy wide receiver, seeing his first action as a kick returner here tonight.
He's got 1 catch on the game so far for 7 yards. Wouldn't be all that surprising to see the Eagles take a couple shots at him, or a guy like Eric Tompkins try to get the ball into some space.
Green will stay on the field as Tarnowski bunches his receivers to the left, goes down the middle, almost picked off.
That was a scary pass in multiple ways. Almost strip sacked there by number 47 for the Walsh Cavaliers. That's Chad Phyllis. And then almost throws it into coverage. It's a scary play there for Travis Tarnowski.
Pat White just dropped the ball. That would have been the first turnover by the Eagles starting offense. Of course, right after, I said that they hadn't turned the ball over yet. So thankfully, Pat White drops the ball and saves me from a little bit of grief after the game, I'm sure.
Yeah, Pat White, the senior safety, part of that really experienced secondary.
This handoff goes up the middle, and Taylor's got it for a big gainer down to about the 32-yard line.
Nice job there by Tarnowski, keeping that zone read, giving it to Taylor at the last possible minute. And then he was just shot out of the cannon right up the middle. Had a lot of space to run with there.
That's just a great job by Anthony Taylor, finding that hole on the cutback and then able to turn on the jets afterward.
Yeah, once he got past the offensive line did a very good job of opening up some space for him. There wasn't much between him and that kind of big gash run that he just showed there.
Fresh set of downs for the Eagles as Taylor takes another one straight up the middle for a handful of yards.
You hadn't heard much from Taylor in quite a long time. Just in case you forgot, this guy did run for just shy of 1,700 yards last year. 180 the last time he played against these Walsh Cavaliers.
Anthony Taylor slowly moving his way up the list. All-time rushing yards for Ashland University. He's got about 500 left, and we might see him break it here at Jack Miller Stadium in a couple weeks, hopefully. And, certainly you got to think that the best running back in the GLIAC would be able to get that done by the end of the season. Tarnowski hands it off to Taylor straight up the middle. Should be good enough for an Eagle first down. They'll have a fresh 10 inside the 20.
Same play 3 times in a row. No real reason to change it. He's doing a very good job just running the ball straight up the middle, keeping the ball safe and letting Taylor do what he does.
Tonight's attendance, 4,923. It's a new stadium record, so our largest crowd ever here at Jack Miller Stadium. Again, that's 4,923.
And from where we are in the press box, we get a better view of the away stands than we do the home stands. Even those are full. Not something you always see in Jack Miller Stadium.
Tarnowski hands this one off inside. Again, Taylor with the carry. Settlemyer.
And Cavaliers finally starting to wise up. Starting to realize that the Eagles are going to run the ball right up the middle.
And here's a good look at that crowd. The largest crowd in Jack Miller Stadium history, 4,923 fans, tonight's paid attendance. A new stadium record. Tarnowski takes the snap, drops back in the pocket. A little bit of pressure, throws it off to the middle, and that's complete.
Dan Pico again being that release valve for the Eagles.
Tarnowski's pass is complete.
I'm sorry, that was Matt Schweitzer, the tight end, on that catch over the middle. Schweitzer had looked like he was a little banged up after that first catch of the half, but he's still out there playing well for the Eagles.
It will move the chains for Ashland University as Tarnowski goes back under center. A big set for AU. This one goes to Taylor, and he's in for the score.
And that touchdown, he now ties Don Church, the late 90s running back. That is Taylor's 35th touchdown of his career. He now is tied for the Ashland University career touchdown record.
So we could possibly see 2 records broken tonight. We've already seen the attendance record, 4,923. Brand new record for Jack Miller Stadium. Possibly we could also see Anthony Taylor break the all-time Ashland University touchdown record as well.
Right. He scored 3 last week. He's got 1 so far, and there's still quite a bit of football to play here.
Samens with the extra point. He's been perfect today so far. That one's up and just sneaks in the right of the left upright, and the Eagles go up 31-10.
Nice drive there from the Eagles. Balanced look. You saw a couple passes from Tarnowski, but really that drive reminded you a lot of last year, a lot of Anthony Taylor proving why he's going to go down as the best running back in Ashland University history.
And let's take a look at that record-tying touchdown again. Anthony Taylor, again, gets the handoff on the left-hand side into the end zone. His 35th career touchdown as an Eagle.
Just real easy touchdown there for Taylor. A lot of space to run. You can see his teammates celebrating with him. You know, really a familiar scene if you watch any Ashland football, seeing Anthony Taylor in the end zone. It's something you've come to know and love as an Eagles fan.
And, of course, you probably have been watching a lot of Eagle football. You can catch all of our home games right here at ashland.edu/JDM. Of course, the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department broadcasting all the home Eagle games all year long. You can catch them right here online and catch them on TV 20 all week long as well.
You can always tune in to WRDL-FM as well. If you can't get in front of a TV or computer screen, listen to the radio broadcast as well.
St. Mensa's kick goes out of bounds. That'll give Walsh pretty decent field position. They'll start at the 35 here on this drive. They got to get points in a hurry and find a way to stop the Eagles as well.
Right. The offense did play very well last drive. Came up just short there at the end with the couple fade routes that just weren't able to connect between Ton and the receivers. It'll be interesting to see what the Walsh Cavaliers come out here doing. They had a lot of success running the football last drive, but they're running out of time to rely on that multi-front, multi-option running game.
So the Eagles will kick on their own 30 now after the flag, and Walsh will more than likely get some decent field position here. St. Mensa's kick goes fairly deep considering where they're kicking off from, to about the 10. That one's returned to about the 30-yard line before a big hit from Ashland University will down them around the 31. Let's take a look at that one more time. Big special teams hit, and it looks like that was Cameron Green. So getting a little action on special teams as well, Zach.
Absolutely nice to see a whole team effort there. Everyone getting involved on special teams.
So Walsh back on offense as Ton goes under center with, again, 2 wingbacks and a fullback behind him. The pitch goes to the fullback, Keith. Couple yards, ran out of bounds. At some point, Walsh has to think maybe we should start passing a little bit more if we're going to get back in this game.
Yeah, they haven't run the ball all that well as a team. They had some success with that last drive, but at the same time, a guy like Brady Tunn, new quarterback, it's got to be a little bit tough for them to try to take the ball deep. But they need to start picking on these Ashland corners if they're going to get back into this game.
31-10 our score, 6:22 left here in the third quarter. Ton with the handoff to Keith again. Keith right up the middle. We've seen Walsh go back there time and time again tonight as several Eagles finally with the takedown.
It's a nice job there, particularly by Chase Hubler. He came in, forces Ton to give up the ball, and is able to chase down the running back there, Keith, and bring him down. Nice effort there out of the defensive end.
Schwederman able to finish it off, and it'll be 3rd and about 3 for the Cavs. Ton in the shot. Looks for a quick pass. Down the right-hand side. That's complete for a gain of about 25. With the catches, Jeremy Wilson. Haven't called his name a whole lot tonight. Had a really good game against Tiffin. 6 rushes for 47 yards and also had a catch for 2 yards.
And that's just a great pass there by Ton. Not a whole lot of space. Decent coverage there out of Kyle Tomko. Tomko almost ripped the ball out too, but Wilson able to hang on to it throughout the entire catch. Nice play there by the Walsh Cavaliers.
First down again for Walsh as we get a great sack by the Eagle defense.
Adam Wallace just came right through there, untouched, able to bring Ton down before he even had a chance to decide what he was doing with the ball.
Again, Wallace, just a sophomore from Sterling, Ohio. Looks like he'll be part of the Eagle defense for a few years to come.
Again, just no offensive lineman, no back decided to block him, and Wallace made them pay. Ton's going to be feeling that hit tomorrow morning.
Second and about 14 for Walsh as they'll have a little bit of a hill to climb before the next first down. Ton rolls out to the left, passes deep, and might have been a trap catch. Yeah, they're going to say it's incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and about 14 for the Cavs.
Yeah, Ton just doesn't look like he has the arm strength to get that ball out there. It's about 15, 20-yard pass, rolling onto his left off his back foot. Not a great throw there from Ton. Need to get just a little bit more on that if he wanted the first down. Now he's in a 3rd and long situation.
That was Anthony Schrock on the. It was the intended receiver there. Schrock, we haven't called his name too much tonight, and he's really one of the key weapons for the Walsh Cavaliers. Ton in the shotgun again. Got it back to his left-hand side. Drops back to pass. Rolls out to the right. Thinking about taking himself. He will. Just a gain of maybe 2 or 3. So it'll be still 4th and long for Walsh University, and the Eagles might get the ball back here.
Yeah, it looks like the Cavaliers are going to go for it. Not a bad move there by Ton. Pick up a couple yards, make this 4th and long a little bit more manageable, but you're still looking at a 4th and 10 situation.
Yeah, really just back to the original line of scrimmage. 31-10, though. Walsh really seeming like if they're going to come back in this game, they got to get some points on this drive. 4:04 left in the third quarter. We'll see Ton line up in the shotgun again, almost an identical set as last time, with a back to his left-hand side. He'll roll out to the left this time. Pass is incomplete, right through the hands. Wouldn't have been a first down anyway. And Ashland will get the ball back with decent field position.
Great job by the Eagles. You had 4 Eagles in the backfield there. And then Keith not catching that pass. Wouldn't have mattered anyways. The original pressure there from Cody Bloom. Adam Wallace there again to make sure that Ton doesn't get comfortable back there. And again, when Ton's on the run, he doesn't have the arm strength to sort of plant and throw. The Eagles are in good field position here. Can really do something here to really put this game out of reach.
That was Schwederman with the coverage, and he's had a pretty nice game so far, as Keith probably heard the footsteps and decided he wasn't going to get a first down anyway and just dropped it. This one goes to Taylor, again over to the right-hand side for a gain of about 2 or 3.
This is eerily reminiscent of last year's Walsh game for Taylor. Quieter first half, still led the team in touches, but now here in the second half, just gashing this Cavaliers defense each time he touches the ball.
31-10, Ashland with a lead. We're approaching 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. You have to think that the Eagles will rely on their run game here for most of the rest of the way. Tarnowski in the gun, back to pass. All day long to pass. That one's complete to the tight end over on the right-hand side.
Actually, Cameron Green there getting the ball. Had some open space, and like you said, Tarnowski had all day to throw. Great protection there by the Eagles' offensive line. When you have that much time to throw, you're going to find someone open. And Tarnowski does. Green bringing it home. And a big first down there for the Eagles.
We've seen Green in a lot of action. You can tell the AU coaches like this kid. He's played some receiver. He's played some return man. He's even played some kickoff team and had a couple good tackles on the kickoff team tonight.
Right, getting a lot of time out there in the field. And he is just a phenomenal athlete, the kind of guy you want to get into space.
Tarnowski rolls out left. The pass to Pico is incomplete. Dan got his hands on it, couldn't pull it in.
Just a little outside of Pico's reach there. Good coverage there by Kirkland Bryant for the Walsh Cavaliers. Just a sophomore, but again, another Division I transfer from Eastern Michigan.
2.5 on the clock as Ashland milks a 31-10 lead. They're into Walsh territory now. It'll be second and about 10.
3 wide receivers out there for the Eagles.
Tarnowski again gives it to Taylor off to the left-hand side. And he breaks it out even further left. This could be an Ashland first down. It is. That'll move the sticks. Eagles get close to the red zone. There might be a yard out at this point.
And that's just what you've come to expect from Anthony Taylor. Turns what was going to be a 5-6 yard solid run and is able just to break it outside, use that speed, get to the outside before going out of bounds, just shy of the 20-yard line. But again, Anthony Taylor, again, proving why he is the lead back in this 3-headed monster with runs like that.
Taylor needs one more touchdown to break the school record for career touchdowns with 36. That one goes to Taylor, and he'll get inside the 20 now, down to about the 16. It'll be second down for Ashland.
Tackled there by Kirkland Bryant.
2-yard gain on the play. Second down and 8.
Looking at this play again, it really seems like Taylor makes a guy miss. It's going to take more than one guy to bring down Anthony Taylor tonight, and it takes more than one guy to bring down Anthony Taylor most nights.
Yep, and that's why he keeps getting the ball. He's still out there on the field, again, in this second down play.
$1:30 on the clock here in the third quarter. Ashland with a 31-10 lead. Tarnowski goes off to the right-hand side. That's Brenner. And he gets a gain of a couple. Not a whole lot, though.
It's going to be a third and short situation now for the Eagles. It's nice to see the Eagles balancing that offense, though. You're not completely reliant on that running game. And Tarnowski, definitely talented enough, even as a redshirt freshman, to force the Cavaliers to remain honest.
Yeah, we've called Drew Brenner's name a couple times tonight, and he's listed as the 4th receiver on the depth chart. Big set for the Eagles. This one goes to Taylor. He gets wrapped up before he can find the first down marker. It'll be 4th down. This is field goal territory again for the Eagles. They're inside the 20, but it's 4th and short, just 2 or 3 yards. We'll see what Lee Owens decides to do.
Yeah, it looks like his Most of his offense is still out there.
Yeah, coming onto the field is Cameron Green, and he'll play the slot receiver here.
Take a look, too, at Vance Settlemeyer, split out wide, but in the backfield still as he comes in motion.
Tarnowski will pass this one, and it's incomplete over Pico's head. Walsh will get the ball back, but they'll be in poor field position at their own 12-yard line.
Yeah, pinned back deep. I don't mind that play call there from Lee Owens. If you convert that, you have the opportunity to really put this game out of reach. And even still, Walsh isn't in a very good situation here. Like I said, at their own 12, not much time left before the fourth quarter.
Walsh will probably get just one more play left before we send this one into the final frame. The Eagles with a 31-10 lead right now. 8 seconds left on the clock here in the third. Eagle defense has had a pretty good night so far. They've pressured the quarterback, Brody Ton. Forced an interception. That one's complete over to the left-hand side and driven out of bounds as the receiver.
There's Anthony Schrock. Best hands in Walsh history according to his coaches. Showing him off there. Donzel Ashley there to make contact, force him out of bounds.
Clock begins again once the sticks are set. And that'll do it for the third quarter. Heading into the fourth, Ashland University with a 31-10 lead over the Walsh Cavaliers. We'll be right back after this with the conclusion of this game right here on the AU football stream produced by the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department. Welcome back to Ashland University. The Eagles with a 31-10 lead here over Walsh as we begin the fourth quarter. Again, our largest crowd ever here at Jack Miller Stadium for Family Weekend, and just a beautiful atmosphere here. And they're getting to see the Eagles not necessarily walk away with one, but they're in control at this point.
Yep, it's going to take some outstanding play here from quarterback Brody Ton. Going to look to some of his receivers, the deep threats, guys like Gerald Robinson, Darryl Gray. Be interesting to see what Ton can do here with the pressure on him.
Got to think Walsh is in full pass mode now as Ton drops back in the shotgun. Throws up the middle. That one's complete and almost good for a first down. Will be close. That's Aaron Mayle. Haven't called his name a whole lot since the first quarter when he dropped a couple of those.
Yep, brings that one in. Would have had a first down. Looked like he actually lost the first down trying to fight for those extra yards. Now a second and short situation for the Cavaliers. Look for them to maybe take a shot downfield here, knowing that they're only a couple yards out from that first down.
More shotgun from Walsh as they've got a second and about 1 on their own 31-yard line. There's a handoff to Keith. Or no, it's an end around over to the right-hand side. It's good play action by Brody Ton. Had even me fooled there for a second as the wingback, Matuska, takes it over to the right-hand side for a Walsh first down.
Esther there on the play.
More shotgun from Walsh here as they've got a fresh set of downs at the 40 or the 36 rather. Pass goes out to the right-hand side. That's complete and down again close to the first down marker. Will depend on the spot. That's Gerald Robinson. We've called his name a few times, catching the ball for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, it's Gerald Robinson's third catch now. Came into that catch with 37 yards. Cavaliers' only touchdown as well. Nice play there by him. Nice job there by the Eagles. Again, Zach Olszewski in there again to finish off that tackle.
Another fresh set of downs for the Cavs. They're moving the ball pretty well here in the fourth quarter. Ton, deep down the right-hand side of the field. That is an incomplete pass. Eagles thought it might have been a catch and a fumble, but the referees are going to rule that Robinson didn't have it long enough for it to be considered, or Keith rather, or excuse me, that's Matuska, did not hold on to the ball long enough for it to be considered a catch.
Yeah, Tom's going to have to talk to some of these receivers coming from his own experience. He's missing a lot of his receivers are dropping balls. That's really got to be hurting the first-year quarterback. Donzel Ashley in there to break up that catch, I guess, on the fall. But Ton's got to be getting a little bit frustrated with the amount of drops his receivers are having.
Good news is drops stop the clock if you're Walsh. As Tun takes this one over to the right-hand side. It's complete, but tackled right away is the receiver, Aaron Mayle. On the coverage there for the Eagles was Chris Harvey, the linebacker.
Chris Harvey back out there. That injury didn't hold him out, and he's still out there making the same kind of plays that we expected from him. Nice job there by Mayo to at least bring the ball in, get a couple yards, make it a third and manageable for the Cavs.
Tun rolls out to the right-hand side. He likes to roll out as he passes. That one's completed and down to about the first yard marker. They'll say he ran out of bounds a little bit sooner than that.
This is obvious 4-down territory for the Cavaliers, so they'll be heading right back out there. Again, Olszewski in on the play, just being that consistent force for the Eagles. As a sophomore, and again, Cody Bloom is out there. We haven't mentioned him very much, but that is a former All-American linebacker.
Bloom back after his leg injury last year forced him to medical redshirt. Had a great game last week against Lake Erie as Tun takes the snap in the shotgun. Quick pass out to the right, and it'll be a first down for Walsh. So the Cavs convert on fourth down, and we'll see if they can put some points on the board here. It's pretty much now or never if you're Walsh University.
Yeah, the Cavaliers are doing a good job of moving the ball, but this late in the game, down this much, they need to be moving the ball a lot quicker, a lot further downfield, and the Eagles just aren't allowing that.
Long pass, not exactly Walsh's specialty. As Tun will roll out to the right-hand side again. He's pressured, and they will get a sack there. We've been calling this guy's name a whole lot tonight. Chase Hubler, the transfer from Indiana, had a great week last week with 8 tackles, 2 for a loss, and he's been all over the field tonight again.
Yep, nice sack there. Chasing down the quarterback, Tun. I mean, Tun was just looking to run, just trying to survive at that point. Hubler not allowing him. And even if he hadn't been there, Tyler Sipperson was there. Nice job there by the Eagles' defensive line to just penetrate and be there to force Tun into the second and long situation.
That's Hubler's first sack of the evening, but he has certainly pressured the quarterback many times here in this game. That pass is complete over to the middle of the field. It'll be make up some of the yardage on the sack there, and it'll be third and about 8.
Yeah, nice play there by Keith to bring that ball in. Keith's been a pretty big part of this offense, getting the pass fake, and then Tun ends up throwing it right back to him, but the Eagles are right there, not allowing any yards after the catch.
We talked a lot about Mayle coming into this game, but Keith has really been the feature back for the Cavs here today. Tun back in the pocket again from the shotgun. Wide open down the middle of the field is Keith. Down to about the 12.
Nice play there by Schwieterman just to save the touchdown. But Keith caught that ball, had a lot of open space in front of him. He took advantage of it. Good job there by the Cavaliers to recognize that soft spot in the middle of the zone, and for Keith to just catch it and run.
That's a good point about Schwieterman. Justin Keith is not a small guy, and for Schwieterman, the free safety there, to come up and make that tackle to prevent the touchdown, not only prevented Walsh from scoring, but kept the clock running as well.
Yep.
Tun in the gun again. Rolls out to the left, looking end zone, incomplete. Receiver lost his footing. We'll see if there's a flag.
Yeah, it looked like Schwieterman made a little bit too much contact there with the receiver. It's going to be a pretty easy flag from the officials there.
Jeremy Wilson, the intended target in the end zone. That's one that could have gone either way. Could have been a no call. Seemed like he might have lost his footing there a little bit. We'll get the call.
That's interference. Number 8, defense. Ball be placed on the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
So let's go ahead and take a look at that play again to see if there really was enough contact to maybe call that, Zach.
Yeah, Schwieterman, it looked like a little bit of both. It looked like the receiver probably had lost a little bit of footing. But again, Schwieterman with that arm extended, if you have your arm out like that with the receiver going down, it's going to be a pretty easy call for the officials, especially in the end zone.
Big set now for Walsh as I think Brody was under center for the first time of this drive. Run inside, goes for a couple. Can't quite get the touchdown, though.
Yeah, Keith tried to force his way through, digging Cody Bloom out of the pile there. The Eagles doing the best they can to hold firm in this short yardage situation.
Great job by Bloom to just close that hole up, and Keith was tackled before he was able to get in the end zone. Again,
Olszewski making first contact again, sophomore linebacker.
Keith not a small guy. This one doesn't go to Keith. It goes to Mayle up the middle, and Walsh is saying it's a touchdown. No signal from the referees yet.
If not, it's really close.
And they will say it is 6 points for Walsh.
Nice play there by Mayle. Has a nose for the end zone. Led the team in touchdowns last year with 9.
31-16 now. It'll be 17 pending the extra point.
It looks like right guard Pete Wirsch was being looked at there, limping a little bit for the Cavaliers.
Michael Dudix is pretty much automatic from this range. Good field goal kicker. That one's up and good. And Walsh closes the gap, but is it too little too late? We'll see what Ashland can do on their next drive coming out here, possibly trying to run some time off the clock and really just send everybody home happy.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see Tarnowski throwing the ball very much here. If anything, you're going to see some of those quick tight end outs that Tarnowski's completed a couple times. And good completion percentage from him, 16 to 25. Doing a good job taking care of the ball. But again, the workhorse, Anthony Taylor, well over 100 yards on the day. Settlemeyer with 54 yards. He had that big touchdown run.
Here's the scoring play again, and when we take a look at it, you can see that from this distance, this is pretty much automatic for a Walsh team that runs the ball pretty well.
Right, Mayle able to find just the slightest hole and got his way in there. Nice job there by Mayle. Nice job by Ashland defense to be there, but at that point, like you said, so close, not much Ashland can do.
Inside the one, not a whole lot you can do, especially against a team that, again, like Walsh, is so adept at running the ball. Dudix to kick off here. This one is deep and about to the 6-7 yard line maybe. That's Taylor, who will take it out to about the 19. Couldn't even get to the 20. Or they'll give him a couple extra yards, maybe a favorable spot for Ashland University about the 21. We'll see Ashland start their first drive of the fourth quarter here.
Again, look to see Taylor, who had such a great couple runs on that last drive, continue to just pound the rock down the Cavaliers' throat. Look for him to maybe try to break that record here in front of the record crowd here at Jack Miller Stadium.
Taylor does stay in. Against Lake Erie last week, it was pretty much Taylor in the first and third quarters and McCune in the second and fourth. Taylor takes this one for close to 10 yards. Should be a first down. It will depend on the spot. And the sticks will move again. This is exactly what Lee Owens and the Eagles are looking for out of their feature back here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, this is just a vintage Anthony Taylor performance. He's always such a talented running back, but especially in the third, fourth quarters, he's really worn down this Walsh defense. Now it seems like every run he's going for, he's got 8, 9, 10 yards, just gashing this Cavaliers defense.
After the measurement, it will be a first down for AU as Tarnowski gets the shotgun, hands it off up the middle to Taylor. Taylor takes it in between the hashes for a gain of maybe 4. Little extracurricular activity between the linemen. These guys have been going up against each other all night long. Tends to get a little bit chippy here in the fourth.
With some real success from this Eagles offensive line. Again, Sipa, Triplet, Gianta, Douglas, and Knight across the line. Doing a great job of getting that Walsh defense on their heels right away and giving Taylor the room to run. He doesn't need much, and the Eagles offensive line is providing more than enough.
Chad Phillips on the tackle on that last play. First time we've called his name tonight. The junior from Monaca, Pennsylvania. That pass is incomplete. Tarnowski unable to hook up with Cameron Green there, and the clock will stop. If you're Walsh, near begging the Eagles to pass it at this point in the game.
Right, especially considering as well as Taylor's played in these past couple drives. It's more likely that Taylor's going to get you 10 yards than a Tarnowski passes right now.
We'll see Settlemeyer and Taylor in on this play as Vance is on the right and Anthony's on the left. Tarnowski in the gun, drops back to pass. It goes to Settlemeyer. Settlemeyer takes it down to about the 40. Should be a first down for Ashland. Great play by Settlemeyer, getting a few extra yards after first contact, making sure those sticks move.
Nice job there by the sophomore Vance Settlemeyer. McCune and Taylor, incredibly talented backs. They're both seniors. This is their last year. Settlemeyer showing that there is a future for the Ashland Eagles at running back. Especially, we always consider Settlemeyer to be this kind of speed back. He still has a lot of power, able to carry the pile a little bit there, break through a couple tackles. This is a very talented running back to be third string.
Yeah, and when you look at this team and consider some of the young players it has, you got to think the Eagles' offense is going to be pretty good for a long time. Tarnowski's shown a lot at quarterback so far. He's just a freshman. Settlemeyer, the sophomore, and Cameron Green, who's been featured tonight a lot, the sophomore receiver. Handoff goes to Taylor, or Settlemeyer rather, over to the right-hand side, and you'll see Vance again show off those moves for another first down, a gain of about 16.
Really good job there of just taking that contact from the Walsh Cavalier defender, spinning off of it, not allowing it to slow him very much. Right there, takes a hit from Al Gliak, Jamaris Brown, doesn't phase him, and is able to get a couple more yards for the Eagles. And now they're into Walsh territory already.
Lee Owens has been running a lot of these two-back sets tonight. You know, the defense usually keys in on Anthony on those, and then Settlemeyer has a better chance of getting open there. That one does go to Taylor as he gets just a few yards there.
The amount of talent that you have at running back feels almost silly to keep one of them on the sideline at all times as Taylor goes to the sideline here for a well-deserved break. Makes sense to keep all that talent out there, keep the Walsh Cavaliers from being able to key in on one back.
Owens sends his big back in, McCune. We haven't seen Jordan since the second quarter, and the second quarter was probably the quarter that the Eagles dominated the most. Again, relying on all three running backs here today as the Eagles have a 31-17 lead over Walsh with 6 minutes to play here in the game. McCune takes this one, tries to stay in bounds to keep the clock going. Does look like he has a first down here. They'll probably measure this one again.
They're just going to give him the first down straight away.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Ashland. Again, 31-17 the lead for the Eagles.
Nice stiff arm there for McCune. A nice job of just carrying that Walsh defender.
And a great job by Ashland holding on to the football during this drive, too. It's just a 2-score lead for the Eagles. This one goes to the right-hand side. McCune again gets the call down to about the 26.
Right, as long as the Eagles can keep pounding away, keep doing what they're doing right now, they can go a long way to putting this game out of reach. But like you said, all it takes right here is one mistake, put the football on the ground, and the Walsh Cavaliers can find themselves right back in this game.
Previous to this drive, McCune had one of 2 rushing touchdowns for the Eagles. 5 rushes, all of them coming in the second quarter for 17 yards. And again, did find pay dirt there once in quarter number 2 as well. Tarnowski wants to maybe change the call to the line of scrimmage here. Goes back to the shotgun. He's got McCune to his left-hand side. Some pre-snap movement. Looks like it'll be false start.
Number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
That one on the tight end, Schweitzer, as the Eagles will have a little bit further to go here on second down now, maybe 11.
Penalty, second down and 12.
Anthony Taylor and Settlemeyer out there again in one of those two-back lineups that we've been talking about.
Settlemeyer off in the slot. Taylor, the running back, takes it to about the 29, and it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Eagles.
Nice patience there from Taylor. Nice job by the offensive line. Not a whole lot of room, but Taylor's the kind of back that can take a 1-yard loss and make it into a 4-yard gain. It's one of the things that makes him so valuable for this Eagles offense.
The AU running game just taking it straight down the throat of the Cavaliers here. We're now down to about 4 minutes to play in this game. This has been by far the quickest quarter, is because AU's had the ball and they've been running it. Tarnowski back to pass. Gets some good blocking. That one's caught for a touchdown. Cameron Green. And the Eagles put this one away here.
Yep, Cameron Green showing his speed. And Tarnowski showing him he's not just a game manager. He's not just a guy to hand off the football. Great throw to Cameron Green, who found a lot of space. Nice, easy pitch and catch there for a touchdown to, like you said, put the game away.
Pretty easy to make a catch like that when pretty much all 11 guys on the Walsh defense were probably thinking run, Zach.
Right, as well as Taylor, Settlemeyer, McCune, just this entire Ashland Eagles offense has been playing on the ground. Can't expect a pass like that. Cameron Green finds a lot of space for the touchdown grab.
Saments again back for the extra point. Kicks up. It's good. And the Eagles will take a 38-17 lead. 21 points the lead here now with 3:45 left on the clock. You got to think this game's pretty much over now.
And Lou Owens has to be very impressed with his running backs. Again, impressed with Tarnowski, the redshirt freshman, doing everything it takes to win the game. And right there showing that there's a lot of talent back there in the backfield between the quarterback and those three running backs.
Let's take a look at that play again. It's Travis Tarnowski, the freshman quarterback, to the sophomore receiver Cameron Green. These guys will be doing this a few more times, Zach.
Right, Cameron Green just right over the middle of the field, showing off that speed. This is now his second straight game with a touchdown as a sophomore. Last week he got involved in the running game as well. Here, just showing off his speed, getting into the open field for the easy touchdown.
Tarnowski to Green could be, the new, Steve Young to Jerry Rice here at Ashland University.
Absolutely.
Two young players hooking up once again here. And the Eagles all over Walsh now. Saments' kickoff is a squib kick, fielded around the 20-yard line by Walsh, and the returner, that's Keith, the running back, will be tackled around the 38-yard line. We'll see if Walsh tries to climb back in this one or just focuses on the run game and calls it a day.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do here again. They're down quite a bit, not much time left. This one's all but out of reach for them. Be interesting to see what they do here. Looks like Settlemeyer's a little banged up on that special teams play. Holding his chest, looked like.
Brody Tunn will stay in at quarterback for the Walsh Cavaliers. He passes out to the left-hand side. That one's complete. Great pitch and catch. Anthony Schrock on the catch.
Not much out of Schrock today, but again, this whole Walsh offense has struggled a little bit throughout the game. They've had some bright spots, but at the end of the day, it didn't look like it was enough.
Clock moving, 3:20 now. As Tunn back to pass, throws out to the right-hand side. It's picked off by Ashland. That's the safety, Schwederman, down to about the 30-yard line. He could break it to the 20, to the 15, down to the 10.
That's Schwederman's second turnover recovery. Nearly got that in there for a second touchdown, but comes up just short. And now the Eagles are in great position just to finish this off after a dominant performance there from the defense.
The 2013 All-GLIAC honorable mention. Had 4 interceptions last year and gets his first of the season here.
Yeah, this is just not a good pass from Tunn. Schwederman just sat there in coverage, leaps up and gets the underthrown pass. Tunn was looking for Robinson, comes up well short, and Schwederman instinctively starts getting towards the end zone, comes up just short, but now the Eagles are going to be able to pound away with this running game.
And with 3 minutes left, it could be interesting to see what the Eagles do here as, again, Anthony Taylor just one touchdown shy of the career rushing touchdown record.
Right, Taylor's still out there. Austin Bruns, the backup quarterback, is now in there for the Eagles. Looks like backups all around. You see backup wide receiver out there as well. But Taylor out there still starting, probably looking to get him that record-breaking touchdown.
And you got to think the reason Anthony Taylor was in the game is because you want him to get that record-breaking touchdown at home here in front of the home fans.
Yeah, he's coming off the field here, though. Looks like he's not going to get that record today. He's going to be sitting on 35 for his career as Mike Taylor is now in the backfield.
Taylor takes the handoff to the right-hand side, and he's eaten up quickly.
Mike Taylor, the ball carrier. Knocked out by Nicholas King.
Maybe a loss of 1 on the play.
Eagles will be starting 2-0 for only the third time in Lee Owens' tenure here. The last time they did was 2012 when they hosted their first NCAA playoff game here in Ashland. So a good way to start out the year for the Eagles.
3rd and 7 or 8, somewhere in the middle. Bruns tosses it to Taylor again to the left-hand side. Taylor breaks a couple tackles before he's finally brought down around the 5. 4th down and a handful for the Eagles. We'll see if the kick team comes out. And it looks like Aiden Simons will come onto the field. So Lee Owens will try to tack on 3 points here and possibly get some second-teamers on defense a little bit of work tonight. Left hash field goal for Simons is going to be about a 29-yarder. One's up, and it is good. Just through the right upright, and the Eagles tack on 3 more points. Now it's 41-17. Any hope that Walsh had after that pick has pretty much gone away now.
Yeah, 41-17, Ashland leading. Feels like a bigger gap. It feels like both a bigger gap than it should be, and also about what we've experienced. You know, the running game that Ashland just rammed down the Walsh Cavaliers' throat. And then Tarnowski coming off of that record performance. You can't expect the redshirt freshman to be throwing for almost 400 yards every game. But he did enough to win. He did a lot. You know, the Eagles didn't need much from him. You know, between Taylor, Settlemeyer, McCune, those 3 running backs are going to be this young quarterback's best friend.
48 seconds left here in the game. Ashland with a big lead over Walsh. Again, like you said, this game was really a lot closer than 41-17.
Right, couple touchdowns at the end, the field goal, the turnover from the Walsh quarterback, Brody Tunn. Eagles just looking to kick this one off and ride into the sunset with a victory.
Walsh was at one point within 2 touchdowns here in this 4th quarter, but the Eagles have broken it wide open. Kick goes to about the 5-yard line, and it's taken over to the right-hand side. A nice return by Walsh, and the kicker, Simons, able to ride him out of bounds.
And Matt Matsuka, they tried to get him into the offense a couple times. Again, he had that big dropped pass. Nice kick return there, but again, at this point, there's not a whole lot that Walsh can really mount.
Matuska, the backup receiver, had 5 rushes for 36 yards last week. A nice return there. Sophomore from Akron probably will be a big part of this Cavalier team for the future. 39 seconds here left in the game. And this run goes over to the right-hand side. And this could be the last play if Walsh decides that they're just going to go ahead and walk off the field.
And Paul Kemp is out there. Senior quarterback, was the starter last year and got beat out for the starting job this year.
It was Aaron Mayle on the carry for the Pioneers. In on the tackle was Chris Harvey, the linebacker who we've called quite a few times here today.
Yeah, this linebacking core is proving why they are a big strength of this Ashland Eagles defense.
Walsh will go ahead and let the clock run out. That is the final score, 41-17. The Eagles move to 2-0 on the year. Pretty good start for Lee Owens' bunch.
Like I said earlier, it's only the third time they've done that. Last time was that 2012 undefeated season. Not trying to get ahead of ourselves here, but it's a good way to start. Now the Eagles going through into the third week of the season, they're now in first place in the GLIAC South. It's a good place for this Eagles team to be.
All right, we'll wrap this one up in just a little bit and send you home right after this. You're watching the AU football stream produced by the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department.